Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Passion Supernatural Podcast, the podcast where we discuss what we consider to be the best soap opera ever, Passions. I am Joe Velasquez. With me today, as usual, is my lovely co-host, Casey Metcalf. How you doing, girl?
Good. I'm doing great.
That's great. That's great. Now, the reason we're here on a Sunday is to discuss this amazing soap opera that we miss dearly. We wish it would come back somehow. Now, if you're watching us now, we air on every Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern exclusively on YouTube. There's a lot of stuff to discuss about Passions. They had witchcraft, they had demons, they had living dolls, they had being attacked by sharks, they had musical theater parodies. The list goes on. many crazy storylines. Now, now listen, Casey, as I said, the last 2 weekends, you have watched the show longer than I, right?
Yep.
Yep,
Yep.
there you go, people. You see, that's exactly how it is. She's watched it longer than I have. Amazing as that is, for how big of a fan
Hmm.
I am, she still is ahead of me, and by a long shot. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So here we are once again, and for our third weekend. And let's have some fun, people. We got a lot of stuff to talk about here. Lots and lots and lots. There's so many things that went on Passions, and Casey and I mean, we're still watching it. Well, the final season, that is. We're still watching the final season. Um, you know, we're quite a bit far. Casey's really getting into it with the stuff that we're, getting up to and stuff like that. And don't you worry. By the time we get to it, get to the end, we're gonna have a lot to talk about because Casey's gonna know the whole show by then. So
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, as I said briefly, a little, like about 2 minutes ago or something like that, we all want Passions back, don't we, Casey? We all want
Yep.
it back.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, we just don't know. We just oh, I mean Mackenzie Westmore, who played Sheridan, she has appeared on, a number. I mean, I don't know if she still does it or not. She hasn't done it for about 2 3 weeks. She hasn't really done it. I don't know, but she has done a lot of TikTok lives and everything where she walks on her treadmill and she'll appear the um on the TikTok live, and I almost always appear whenever I can catch her, which is
Yeah.
mostly every time. There might be a few times I miss her, but for the most part I always catch her, and I ask her questions and she remembers me always and stuff. And she has actually said, that there have been some talks about Passions and everything, about Passions returning. And I've mentioned this once or twice during our previous episodes. I mean, she has specifically said that her and Galen have said they will not come back unless they actually put Luis and Sheridan together. They do not like that they did not end up together. I personally don't mind it because I'm a team Luis and Fancy and a Sheridan and Antonio. Yeah, I know you can all come after me with torches. I'll go quietly. I know, but because that's just what I like that better. But the way the couples ended in the end and all that stuff, I like that the best. But at the same time, for those of you who are Shuis fans, which I think there's a lot more Shuis fans than there are Lancey fans and everything, um, Mackenzie Westmore has said that she said, if I'm gonna come back, they better figure out some sort of a way to put Luis and Sheridan together and all that. And but she's been the only one that I've seen. I know that James Hyde, who played Sam, and Rodney Van Hicks, I think his name is, something like that, who played TC Russell, who played
Yeah.
TC. They see, actually, I'll be honest with you, but I don't know if I just wasn't paying attention. By the time I started watching, I think TC had already left the show, so I'm not as familiar with TC even to this day. I don't know, maybe I wasn't paying attention. I really can't remember, but I think he had already left the show and he wasn't really mentioned that much, TC. So I just, even
Nope.
to this day, I'm just not familiar that really with TC that much. But Rodney Van Hicks, if that's his name, and James Hyde, they have actually a while back,
Reconnected.
like on Instagram, they've gotten together
Yeah.
on Instagram and have talked about some things about the possibilities of Passions coming back. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't know what they I don't know what they would do. I mean, I want them to come back, don't get me wrong, but I still don't know what they would do. I mean,
Mm.
what could they do? I mean, they everybody got their happy ending and all that. Everybody got a happy ending. The bad guys, except for Spike, were all defeated and everything. I mean, I'm not going to go into details right now because because I mean Casey hasn't seen that stuff yet, but I mean I haven't really so I won't go into details how, but I mean Alistair and all of them, they were all defeated and stuff like that and everything. Spike was the only one that story was left empty, and stuff like that, yada yada yada. So, but and I mean, and it's like I even mentioned to Mackenzie in the chat. I said they would need to find some sort of a way to, you know, explain Julian's absence and everything, because I mean Ben Masters sadly passed away, and I think they would probably have to recast Rebecca, since Andrea Evans is no longer with us and everything.
Yeah.
Either bring Maureen McCormick back or get somebody else to play Rebecca and stuff like that. So since Andrea Evans passed away too, um, and I don't know.
Alistair.
Well, yeah, but I mean, the character of Alistair was defeated and everything, so I think it's about time that they just retire the character of Alistair and everything. They need I feel like if they were to bring Passions back for a new generation, they would need a new evil. I feel like Alistair, for how wicked and badass he was,
Mm.
I think he overstayed his time. It's time to bring in a new threat and everything. It's time to retire the character of Alistair. So the character of Alistair was defeated, and even though both actors who played Alistair are no longer with us, it still would just make sense to just not bring him back. Just bring in a new threat, have a new evil, have somebody new try and terrorize Harmony and stuff like that, and um stuff like that and um um so I mean, I don't know. I mean, truth be told, I mean, Mackenzie actually agreed with me when I spoke with her. She actually
Mm.
agreed with me that it would actually be kind of interesting to actually have it would be kind of interesting to actually have, if they brought it back for a new generation, to have it all about the kids, have it all about the characters' kids, and not make the original main characters really main characters anymore. I mean, have it all about little Ethan and Maria and Marty and all of them, make it their story and have
Then,
yep,
yeah.
and Jonathan and Jane and
Mm.
all of them, just have it be their story. Have the main characters kind of be the original main characters. Have them be kind of side plots, if you know what I mean. Like, even if they're not on every episode, if you know what I mean. It's kind of like with Full and Fuller House, if you know what I mean. When Fuller House
Yep.
came on, it was about who were just the teenage girls in Full House, now grown up. They were the main characters of Fuller House, and the originals came on every once in a while as guest appearances and stuff like that. So Mackenzie even said that would be kind of interesting for Passions, even. But I mean, heck, even have Endora be an actual main character, if you know what I mean. Give her more to do than just being talking through a talk bubble and doing good magic. Have her actually do something, you know what I mean. She was just a little girl on the show, so they like practically I mean, how old was she, like 3 or something on the show or whatever, so
Yeah.
they couldn't really do that much. But now that she's grown up and everything, she could use her good magic and actually have a real storyline around that. So, but but I agree, that would be kind of interesting to make it all about the kids of the show
Yeah.
and everything. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But we all want it back. We all do. We're dying here, and we don't know. And they better hurry up too, because the cast isn't getting any younger. I mean, that kind of brings up what I was going to say as well. They would also really, really, really need to do some serious, I don't know what the word is, like some serious tracking of the cast, because nobody knows where Emily Harper is, who played Fancy. Nobody knows where she is. And a lot of the actors that were on the show are either not doing very much anymore, or they're
Mm.
retired now. As I've mentioned, like a few other times in a few other episodes. I know that Tracy Ross, who played Eve, she's retired. Dylan Fergus, who played Noah, he told me that he's retired. Even though she was not on anymore and she was recast. Silvana Arias, who was the original Paloma, she told me on Instagram that she works behind the camera now. That's what she told me, at least.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
But when I've spoken to Mackenzie Westmore said a lot of them are really not doing that much. She said it's been a very long time since Ivy, Kim Ulrich, Kay, Heidi Murray. I don't know. It's been a while since you've seen them really doing anything. The only ones that you really see a lot of are obviously, as we've talked before, obviously Luis and Ethan, because they're on Days of Our Lives, so we see
Yep.
them a lot. Teresa Lindsay Hartley, she was on Days of Our Lives, then went on to All My
But
Children, and has done a lot of Lifetime and Hallmark films and stuff like that and everything. Um, 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 Mackenzie herself, well, since I think she just recently did a Hallmark film. I think Mackenzie Westmore did. I mean, she talked about it a bit on a TikTok. I think she just recently did a Hallmark film or something like that or whatever. But since she did the Face Off and everything, I mean, other than what I just told you, I don't know. I mean, but and then finally, that is of the cast that was still on. Of the cast that was still on, you see Blair Redford, who played Miguel, the final Miguel. He does a lot and everything. He's done a lot of TV shows and films and stuff. I've seen him
yep.
in a lot and stuff like that. So he's done a lot as well. Um, but everybody else, you're kind of lucky if you see them in something. I mean, they really don't appear that much. I mean, just remembering from the top of my head and everything, just of all the characters, you just don't really see very many of them, and it's kind of sad, really.
Like James Hyde as Sam Bennett.
Mhm.
I saw him in one movie on Lifetime.
Me too. Me too. Like
Yep.
I said, I saw him in a Lifetime film as a bad guy, which was actually kind of interesting. I already didn't really care. I already didn't care for Sam that much on the show. I thought he was just bad no matter what his
Yeah.
intentions were and everything, but he was an actual villain in the Lifetime movie that I saw. Yeah, he was an actual, out to get teenage girls and actually had to be defeated in the end. He was a real bad guy. So I
Mm.
was like, wow, that's a stretch. So yeah, you're right. James Hyde, yeah. Um
Yep.
so yeah, I mean, I haven't even really seen Liza Huber in anything really, who played Gwen.
No.
Haven't seen her, and I
One.
bet now that you've been introduced to the character, you're actually not going to believe this. I knew this, but I forgot about it until I think earlier today. This will really interest you. Now that you've been introduced to the character of Juanita, who's after Pilar on the show
Yep.
and everything, yeah, you're not going to believe this, but she's actually famous for being a puppeteer on the Muppets.
Really.
Yes, I knew that, but I forgot about that. Yeah, she actually was a puppeteer on the Muppets. Yeah, Jill Remez is her name. Yeah, she was puppeteers behind Miss Piggy. Yeah, she was a puppeteer behind Miss Piggy on the Jim Henson Company. Yeah, so it's kind of interesting, seeing her like, where is Pilar? When all of a sudden, all this time, she's controlling a freaking puppet pig, what she's famous for. So that's kind of interesting. Yeah. Um, but yeah, they would really need to do some big time thinking, like what would they do and everything. If they wanted to bring Passions back, would they, I don't know, what would they do? An entire reboot where they like we were just talking about, make it all about the kids and not even really bring it back with all the originals entirely back, because some people may not want to return or are dead or something like that, or
Yep.
they're going to recast, or what are they going to do? I mean, they would really need to do. I a lot of times wonder a lot, like, even if even if Galen and Eric, Luis and Ethan, even if they were to say, yeah, they'd want to come back, how? They're filming days.
Yeah, they're busy with dates and everything, and
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
I don't know if there's I don't know if there's a different time difference. I also don't know. I know that Days of Our Lives is filmed months in advance. So a lot of the stuff you're seeing now is stuff that they filmed many months ago. I don't know how long ago it was for Passions. I really don't know how, I mean, when Passions was filmed, I don't know how far in advance they filmed it. So I don't know if they could say like we'll come back at this time and everything, and then maybe there's not enough time. I don't know. So, but I don't know if Days of Our Lives and Passions would have different filming schedules. I don't know. Sometimes I even wonder whatever happened to the sets and everything on Studio City of Passions, like the church and the houses and the the hospital and all those at the sets. I'm wondering what happened to them. I wonder if they were reused or if they were torn apart or whatever
that's
happened. I mean,
one that's one thing we should look up to
yeah, absolutely. We
on
should try and
Google.
find that
Yeah.
out. Absolutely. I mean, especially it always makes me cry, after the very, very, very last episode when it's all done and the show is officially over, and then you watch the dun dun dun, dun and the credits dun, 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 and you're looking at this beautiful town of Harmony, and all I can think to myself is we're never gonna see that again. It's done. It's
Uh,
over. And it just makes me cry. We're never gonna see Harmony again unless they bring it back. Like that tone was just so beautiful. And yeah, I mean, here at the
yeah,
very beginning of the show, it was had a sign that said "Welcome to Harmony," and now it was all over.
yeah.
So
I was sad when they got off the eel.
yeah, I mean,
I was sad about it too.
they really, like I said, at when we you'll notice this as we continue to watch the show as it gets closer and closer and closer to the end, because like I said, the show ended in like August 2008, I think, or
Mm,
whatever. As it gets closer to that month of August, as we're watching, as you and I are watching, as it gets closer to the month of August, you're actually going to start to notice that the storylines kind of wrap up very, very, very quickly. Like they just speed
mm,
through them and solve all the problems like very, very quickly. Bad guys are getting defeated, snap of a finger. People are coming back to life, snap of a finger. People are dying, snap of a finger. Things are just happening very, very fast, rather quickly. I mean, the characters who need to leave the show, they're leaving very quickly. Some of them are like some of the like the characters that do leave are kind of like they I don't know, like they leave in like the dumbest ways. I'm not going to tell you anything now because I don't want to spoil anything for you, Casey,
yeah.
but when it does happen, it's like you're like what? Like seriously?
Mm,
That's how they're gonna wrap up a character's storyline? That's
mm,
dumb, or whatever, because they were really trying to wrap everything up before they were done, so they could have the official ending and everything. So a lot of characters and a lot of things were just wrapped up rather quick as it gets closer and closer and closer to August. But and we're only right now in November,
mm,
so
yeah.
yeah, November
Uh, well,
2007. So
yeah. I think the 22nd or something like that.
I have to look at my chart that I
Closer
put
to the
on
end. Yeah.
my phone. Yeah, I'm excited for you to see more episodes of me. I'm dying to see the look on your face and everything when it goes on. But like I said, they would really need to come up with some big time things that people would really want to see the show come back. And not to mention, I mean, once again, I mean, I don't see how the show could be done without Luis and Ethan. Their characters were just too important. Ethan was the leading male and everything. So to recast Eric Martzoff would just, I mean, I know they did temporarily. I know they had to temporarily recast Ethan because Ethan's wife was, I mean, Eric Martzoff's wife was having a child and everything during time. So he was away temporarily. I think an actor named Rib Hillis temporarily took over or something like that. Temporarily took over, but that wasn't for very long. But other than that, when Eric Martzoff came on as Ethan, he was Ethan, and there was like no getting rid of him. So, um, and now he's playing Brady on days, and so I don't know how the scheduling would work. I don't know. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know if they have different schedules. I don't know if there's a way to film days on this time and film passions on that time, or if you would have to pick one or the other. And I mean, because some actors can do shows. Like look at Billy Flynn, who is on Days of Our Lives. He plays Chad Demira. I mean, okay, yeah, the main reason why he's able to do this is because he has he's leaving the show. The character of Chad, well, not the character of Chad, but Billy is leaving Days of Our Lives. He's already been recast. I I don't know the guy's name that has replaced him, but Billy Flynn is still on Days of Our Lives. But at the same time, he's also already appearing on The Young and the Restless and everything. So he's on two soap operas right now until because Days films months in advance. So we still get to see a bit of him of Chad until some point or whatever, and then his replacement will come on and take over as him and everything. You kind of see what I mean. As of now, he's on two different soaps. There are some actors out there that can do that. They just have to work out some kind of scheduling arrangement, I guess. So Billy Flynn is
Yeah.
right now on. I think if you think about it, I think I would have to ask my friend, but I think somebody from Young and the Restless is taking over as the new Chad, while Billy Flynn has left Days of Our Lives and has gone on to Young and the Restless, I think.
Mm.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know. And they better hurry up because the actors are not getting any younger as well. We already lost Ben
No.
Masters, who was already somewhat up there. I mean, okay, he was in the 70s. That wasn't old. And the same thing with Andrea. They both weren't old, but they both died of things. And the older a person gets, there are,
Yeah.
especially poor Juliette Mills. Come on, she was playing a 300-year-old witch, and I don't know how old the actress is in real life and everything, but she ain't getting no younger. I mean, if they want to get Harmony's Town witch back, they better
Yeah.
hurry up. What are they gonna do without? It's like Miguel says later on in the show once he comes back. Miguel actually has a line. What's Harmony gonna be like without Tabitha Lennox? That is entirely true. What would
Yeah.
Harmony be like without Tabitha Lennox?
She's like 80 in her 80s in real life, I think.
I mean, what with like I told you the other day, like we discussed the other day. I mean, what with her sister Haley and everything. I mean, she's up there in age, and so I don't want to insult a person by their age and all that stuff or anything, but
No.
she's getting up there, so they better hurry up. Even though she gave, well, what am I about to say that for? I don't want to spoil anything for you, but you know what I mean. It's just, yeah. So, um, we want it back, and I mean, we just all we can do is we can just hope and pray that something happens, especially without James E. Riley around to write for it anymore. He created Passions, and he
Yeah.
was originally a writer on Days, and now he's no longer with us. They would need a whole new writer or whatever, and a whole new guy to create a new series. Yeah. But so I mean, what we've seen so far, everyone. From where Casey and I have been watching and all, I mean, as of now, I mean, things are kind of where we are on the final season as of right now. Things have kind of taken a little bit of a turn for, I don't know if it's taken a turn for the worse or what. I mean, Tabitha is still doing evil to try and get Endora back, and Kay isn't liking it and stuff or
No.
whatever. Poor Teresa's been arrested, believing that she attempted to, poisoning a boy.
Poison Grin.
God, I hated that part so much. I can't. I always try to fast forward through that part
Because
whenever I watch.
Teresa thought that will make Grin not to fall in love with Ethan
Hmm.
anymore.
Yeah,
Don't want nothing to do with him anymore.
though Casey and I do kind of agree or whatever that Teresa is kind of showing a little bit of stupidity during all that to actually believe in fortune tellers and actually believe that a potion could actually stop. So it's just, how old are you, Teresa? Seriously, when the show started, you were like, what, 18? But now you're a fully grown adult, mature woman and everything, and you still believe in fortune tellers and all that, and believing that there's magical potions. I mean, come on, Teresa, don't play dumb. I would have walked out of that fortune teller booth just like that. I mean, I mean,
You know, and
I mean, me and my ex-wife, back when we were married, we had our fortune told. Back when we were married over on Coney Island, we had our fortune told, but we only did it for fun. I knew it wasn't entirely real. I was just doing it just for the laughs, if you know what I mean, just to see what the fortune teller would say
mm,
or whatever. I know there's no such thing as fortune tellers. And and not to mention, as of now, even though a lot of people in Harmony at this point know that there's a lot of weird things that go on in Harmony, other than Tabitha and Dora and Kay, as far as we know, I mean, I would really need to do some thinking outside of Tabitha and Dora and Kay. Nobody else really knows that magic is a real thing in Harmony as of right now. Everybody seems to think that it's just a weird town. They don't think it's magic. At least that's what I think. I don't know
mm.
if anybody else knows.
You
I'm not
think it's
sure.
evil, the town's evil. Yep.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I said, as far as we know, nobody else knows. I'm not entirely sure. I'd have to really do some deep thinking to see if anybody else knows or whatever. But those three are the only ones that know about magic. Everybody else just thinks that it's evil and weird. So, but aside from that, I would believe more of that than I would believe in fortune tellers. I mean, come on, Teresa, wake up. Fate may be real, but I mean, come on, you're acting still like you're 18 or, your old self from the beginning.
Yeah, a kid will believe in that.
And I know Teresa was smarter than that. I mean, come on, she was a brave woman, but for her to fall for a fortune teller, it just kind of blows me away.
Mm,
Yeah. So things have kind of, all we can do is just hope that Ethan can get her out of there and, I mean, make sure that Gwen still doesn't win or whatever. And, I mean, we got to see what other evil Tabitha does to try and get Endora back. And I don't know what Kay's going to do to get Miguel back.
mm.
We'll have to wait and see what happens. We're all waiting for Endora and Miguel to return. And actually, since bringing that up, the one character that we really haven't talked very much about outside of that little bit there is Endora. We all love little Endora, and we haven't really
Yep.
talked that much about her and everything while this show has been going on. I will admit to that
Mm,
or whatever. I mean, as you all remember and everything, Endora Lennox was that adorable little witchling, good witchling for that matter,
mm,
daughter of Tabitha and everything, who was always out to do the good deal and everything, always trying to do good and everything. And Tabitha basically has had her since she was a baby, and now she's like about what, three and a half, somewhere around there, and she still can't talk. But the only thing that we actually get out of her is this cute little talk bubble and everything, which is really
yeah.
adorable that they actually did to give the kids some lines in a talk
Mm,
bubble and everything. It's really cute. I have to admit to that. And stuff like that. So I mean, she is one other actress that not very many of us know what ever happened to her. Little Nicole Cox was her name, Nicole Cox. And she's all grown up now. I've seen her somewhat during a Passions reunion out in California where they had a lot of the cast members show up at some, it was somewhere out in California. I wasn't there. I couldn't go, but you can see it on YouTube. If you go on YouTube, you can actually see this little Passions reunion where a lot of the cast members, old and new, reunited and talked about things, and they all, like, kind of like at a panel convention, like things, like at those conventions, and the cast members sit there and can answer your questions. And they kind of set it up that way and everything. And I believe they all might have watched the very, very first Passions episode, I believe, and all that. And so Nicole Cox actually did appear for that. And like I said, so we got a little glimpse of what she looks like all grown up, but we still don't know what she's doing. We don't know, is she still acting or is she not doing that anymore? Or where is she? We don't know what's happened to little Endora. So that's the whole thing. If Passions was to come back, they would have to do one or the other. They would either have to keep Endora as this little immortal little girl who just stays little forever, or if they can get the actual Nicole Cox to come back and actually act the part. Not no more talk bubbles, no more sitting there wide-eyed with nothing to say and all that, no more of
You
that.
really can
Actually,
talk.
actually have her
Yeah.
talk and stuff. It's one or the other. Either I don't unless they I guess they could always recast a grown-up Endora, but I mean, to me that would almost be like if they were to recast Endora, and not get the actual actress back, even as an adult. In my eyes, that would be the same thing as recasting the Olsen twins for Fuller House. I mean, as you see, the Olsen twins didn't come back for Fuller House
Nope.
and everything. No, they couldn't get them back, and so they didn't even bother to even recast them. And so for me, that would be kind of the same mistake in my eyes if they were to just cast another actress to come on and play an adult Endora. That would be the same thing as recasting the Olsen twins. We all know who the Olsen twins are. So to bring
Yep.
Michelle back as an entirely different actress, it would just seem awkward in my eyes, at least. I don't know what you all think. Maybe you all think differently than I do.
If- I wish they would come back too, but
Who's that?
they need to. Mary Kay and Ashley, the
Mm,
twins.
yeah, yeah, that was a little bit
But
awkward for so many events that went on Fuller House. So many events that was kind of awkward. That there were so many things at weddings and stuff that went on, and Michelle was not there. That just seems so out of character. But um, I mean, hey, we're talking about Fuller House here. We got an even better show here going on, people. So, but
is it passions related?
exactly. But she, and not to mention, we still haven't even gotten up to her return. She returned briefly with what me and Casey have watched so far. She returned briefly. I even said to Casey what had happened when she returned for like a very, very brief time on Passions. I was like thinking, what were the writers doing? Seriously, they bring her back for like this very brief time in one episode,
Yeah.
and then she's recaptured immediately after coming back. I'm like, what were they just trying to find a way to bring Nicole Cox back? What was Nicole Cox's agent wanting money and saying that she wasn't on the show anymore? And so they said, okay, we'll bring her back briefly for like this 1 minute, but we got to recapture her again or something. Like, what was going on there? I'm like, what's going on? But she still hasn't returned, and neither has Miguel. We're still waiting and everything. We still got a little bit more further to go with what we're watching. But oh man, am I excited for that to happen? Because that's when my favorite actor on the show comes on as Miguel. I know you all just dislike him out there, Passions fans. I know you didn't like him as Miguel, but he was my favorite Miguel and all. So and everything. But yeah, Endora, yeah, we all miss our little Endora, and we all wonder what's become of her, and we wish we had some information on where
What she's
she is.
doing.
And yeah, even though we
Yeah.
saw her briefly at the Passions reunion, if you look at it on YouTube, you can see her and she does a little talking and stuff like that, but it's not enough to really give us enough information on her. So
Mm.
yeah, and what else is there? It's just um to go along with that. There's also aside from Endora and everything, there is also Tabitha's other loved one, Timmy, that we've definitely talked about Timmy and everything a lot more than
Yeah.
Endora. But
I adore Tammy.
yeah,
Tammy.
I wasn't watching when Timmy was on, so I sadly never got to see Josh Ryan Evans's actual work when it was actually airing and everything. I've definitely seen some going back to the beginning and watching episodes from the start. I've definitely seen that stuff, but watching, when I started, he had already, I started watching after
That's the
Josh
way, yeah.
left us and everything. Yeah. Well, okay. Oh, well, actually, no. I'm actually not going to mention that. There is actually something about Timmy that I am not going to mention because I don't want to spoil it for UKC because we haven't gotten to there yet. But there actually is a moment in the show. I'm not going to spoil it for you though, so I'll keep that hush hush about Timmy.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, so basically, Tabitha has basically gone through two loves and everything in her life, for starting with Timmy and then moving on to Endora. And, you know, um, I think really the only difference is that even though she loved Timmy very much, I think she got irritated with Timmy a bit more than Endora, if you know what I mean. I mean, she's a mother
Yeah.
to Endora and everything, but Timmy, she'll every once in a while she'll be like, he has stuck his nose in the wrong place for far too long, and stuff like that
Mm.
or whatever. So it's very, very different relationship with Timmy than it was with Endora. So
Yeah, I remember Fluffy, the cat.
oh, Fluffy. Oh, yeah. I forgot about little Fluffy, the kitty cat, right? Where all you see is his paw or his turds in the litter box and all that kind of stuff, and wow. I mean, what other soap opera has giant pussy cats? I mean, ugh. Um,
Tammy used to be afraid of her.
mhm. Timmy was afraid of that. It's just like a mouse would be afraid of a cat. Yeah. Oh, Fluffy. I'm not even entirely sure. I mean, because yeah, Fluffy does appear in once the show moved to DirecTV. Fluffy does appear, but I don't really know whatever happened to that giant
Fluffy.
pussycat. Yeah, I don't know whatever
Mm.
happened to Fluffy in the end. I mean, I guess we are to assume that he's all right and everything, but I mean, I don't, because like I said, I don't want to give anything away. I know you saw the ending, but you didn't see the ending, if you know what I mean. You don't know how everything led up to the ending. You just saw how everybody ends up. So you
Yeah.
didn't see everything that led up to that. So I don't want to spoil anything for you. But I mean, you don't know what happens there because believe me, all I can tell you right now, Casey, is from what you've seen so far, even though the show has just gotten weirder throughout the years and everything, because well, that's Passions, it's campy and all that stuff. Even though the show has gotten weirder, by the time it gets to the end, pretty much everything that you remembered from the beginning, so much of it is gone. So much of it is
Yeah.
gone from when the show started in 1999. So much of Harmony is just not what it used to be by the end and everything. It's like a wall. It's like you come to miss so much of that place. So whereas again, I mean, the later seasons were what became my favorites. Whereas the majority of Passions fans out there, they came to prefer, excuse me, they came to prefer the original seasons over the newer seasons. I guess that's part of the reason why the show got canceled, because less viewings and stuff. People started thinking
Yeah.
that
Lots of people.
I really think that
Yeah.
sucks or whatever for all the Passions fans out there. I mean, I think it's stupid that just because the show got a little bit weirder, that doesn't mean that it wasn't good. They should still tune in. I mostly, I'll be honest with you, I blame DirecTV. That's who I've always been against for a very long time. I understand. Yes, I know that when NBC dropped them, the show could have ended on a cliffhanger, but DirecTV picked them up and everything, which I'm happy for
Mm.
that. But the fact of it is that they only did one season. They picked them up, and then shortly after picking them up and getting the show back to going, they decide, you know what, we're gonna end it. Well, actually, no. They tried to sell the rights to Passions to another studio, but no other studio wanted it, so they had no choice but to cancel it and everything. So that's why I blame DirecTV. They shouldn't have dropped it so easily right after picking it up.
Yeah.
Like I said, I know they saved them from NBC when NBC dumped them and everything, but if you're going to pick up a show, give it more than a season. And that's why I blame DirecTV for Passions being over today and everything. I really believe that had DirecTV continued to, do more seasons, we'd still have a show. I don't know if a show would be going on today. I mean, I don't know if it would still be. I mean, this is like who knows how many years since the show ended and all that stuff. I don't know, but I don't know if it would still be going on today. But I mean, look at Days of Our Lives. I mean, it's still it's oh
Still
my
going.
yeah, after so
Yeah.
many years, we've lost all my children and we, um, you know, um, Guiding Light and all those shows and everything, um, but um, um, I mean, Passions, I mean, okay, yeah, it got 9 seasons, and that's a pretty good run, but we all loved it so much. We all loved
Yeah.
that soap. So to see it end like that, it was just heartbreaking.
And Passions have had a lot of stuff
It did. And that's
in the
my a
mother
friend of mine
soaps.
a friend of mine said that that's one of the reasons why Passions, while being well loved, it was also well disliked as well because it was so unrealistic, unlike other soaps, just because it had the witchcraft and stuff like that, because it was so unrealistic. That's why it had also its unlikings as well as its likings. Whereas other soaps usually stick to the realism and stuff like that and everything. And so that's why, I guess they lasted longer or something. Whereas Passions just went in a totally different direction, really, really taking us to basically what kids would like. As I said before, it was not your mother's soap opera. I mean,
Nope.
it was not one of those soap operas that, a mother would want to sit and watch while the kids were napping or the kids were in school and all that stuff. It was actually a soap opera that, many ages would like. I mean,
Yeah.
I would always run home from school. I would run home from school after, or I should say, yeah, I believe it was after school. Yeah, run home from school, and I believe it was at 2 o'clock or something like that. I really can't remember. I basically recorded the show on my DVR and everything. I recorded it on my DVR, and I'd have it to watch. And like I said, I started pretty late, and like I said, me and my girlfriend and we watched it for quite a bit together, and then the show moved to DirecTV. I didn't have DirecTV, and my father wasn't about to pay just so that I could watch Passions. So I was able to keep up because my father was able to basically download the episodes. He basically downloaded maybe like 3 or 4 episodes onto a disc from online. He would give me the disc and say, "There you go, there's your Passions. Go ahead." And I would watch it, keep up, and all the way to the end. That was how I was able to keep up and everything. I didn't lose it. I thought I wouldn't be able to see the show anymore, but luckily my dad had a way of downloading it for me. So yeah, and
And
me and my and
same
like yeah, go ahead.
same with my parents. They won't not pay for direct TV because you have to have an antenna up
Yeah,
on the wall.
yeah.
Yep.
My ex-wife, they got it when Passions went to DirecTV. They got DirecTV, and then when it got canceled, they got rid of it. Yeah, so I mean, um, and that so like I said, I mean okay, they saved Passions, but they're also the ones mostly responsible for the show ending because they just didn't give the show really a chance. They picked it up, aired it for a number of episodes, a number of weeks, and then they said, "You know what, we don't want you anymore. We're going to try and sell you to another studio." Couldn't do it, you're canceled. I think that's sick. I feel like if you're going to pick up a show, give it a chance. Yeah, we lost our beloved show because of a beloved soap opera because of DirecTV, I say. But
And I think they did it too to make more money too.
well, I don't know. I don't really know how can you make more money by canceling a show. I don't know. I don't
And
know how
put it
that
on the
works.
yeah.
and it's just a real downer. It's just a real downer and everything that with any soap opera for that matter, any soap opera, it's just a real downer that if you how do you put this, that with any soap opera, when it goes off the air, it's usually gone forever. It never gets anything that you can ever see it again. It never gets a DVD release.
No.
It was never released on VHS. Passions is like the only Passions is like the only soap opera that I've ever seen that actually had some way of keeping the show alive with all the episodes on YouTube, even if it's not the best quality. If Even if it's not the best quality, it's still there, and and that keeps the show alive. But every other soap, when it ends, seriously, I mean, it's almost like it's forgotten about in a way, sort of, or not forgotten about. It's remembered, but there's like no way for people to watch it again. It's not you.
No.
They're not on YouTube. They're not any of that anymore, and so it just leaves you really you know I feel like I mean, I understand that there were many, many, many episodes, but I think it could make a lot. I think that would actually make a lot more money than canceling it, putting a soap opera on DVD, because of how many seasons it runs for. That could make a lot of money selling those DVDs.
Mm-hmm.
That was like when Passions Live aired. Oh yeah, that's to talk about that. That's something we haven't really discussed, was when Passions Live for 8 weeks was basically promoting its move to DirecTV with Eric Martsolf as the host. And basically people could call, they could either make phone calls to the cast, or they could send them emails, or they could webcam them, or they could get on stick cam and all that, and they could ask the cast questions and everything. It was Daytime's very, very first live call-in show, and I wish that had lasted longer. There were other
Yeah.
characters that did not appear on the show. I mean, Endora didn't appear on the show. Miguel didn't appear on the show. Alistair didn't appear on the show. Um, Vincent,
Teresa, Ethan. Well,
Vincent.
Ethan did.
Well, yeah, obviously
Um,
Ethan was the host. Vincent and Vicky didn't appear. Um, there were a lot of characters that actually did not appear on the show on Passions Live. I was like, I understand that they were only doing it to promote its move to DirecTV, but still, that was a really, really, really awesome thing for Daytime back in the day. Daytime doesn't have things like that anymore. I mean, I remember one time when I was talking to Eric Martsolf and Galen Gehring in a Q&A meet and greet like thing on Zoom. I remember saying to Eric Martsolf, I remember saying to him, what I would like to know is, when is Days of Our Lives going to get a Days of Our Lives live? Hosted by the amazing Eric Martsolf. And Eric Martsolf remembered that entirely. And he told everybody what I was talking about. And I told him that it was because of Passions Live. That's how I met my wife. I told him we're divorced now, but that's how I met her, and they were shocked by it. They thought, like, that's really, really awesome. You met your wife thanks to Passions Live. And I told him my wife, I had not met her yet, but at the time she actually called and she asked, is Passions ever going to be released on DVD? And Eric Martsolf remembered somebody calling with that question. He actually remembered that. And of course, I mean, Galen Gehring decided to play with me a little bit, and he asked me, because he knows that my ex-wife is a Sheridan fan, whereas I'm a Fancy fan and everything. Galen decided to play along with me, and he asked, did me and my wife ever fight about Louise and Sheridan, or Fancy and Louise and everything? And I told him, no, we didn't fight exactly, but there was, like, every so often I would always be like, Team Fancy, Team Louise and Fancy, and she would be like, shut up, like that or whatever. So
Yeah.
no, we didn't fight necessarily, but
Mm.
she shut me up like once or twice if I ever went there. So, but no, I mean, but Passions Live, yeah, ran for for like 8 weeks and everything, and it's a real shame that it didn't last longer because there were a lot of characters that did not appear. And it was, I mean, again, there were just so many characters that I had really, really hoped were going to be on there. And my now ex-wife, she was lucky that she was able to get through. She called when she was able to get through when Liza Huber, Gwen, and Mackenzie Westmore Sheridan were on the show, and it was on there, and she was able to call for there through there, and yeah, um, but I mean, Eric Martzoff even told my ex-wife, he's like, can you imagine the amount of DVDs you'd have? I mean, if you have VHS tapes, you must have a closet full, and I'm not going to be able to show you guys, unfortunately, sorry to say, and everything, because my camera won't reach that far. But yeah, she literally does have hundreds of VHS tapes, and many of them have passions on there. I don't know if I don't know how far back they go, but there is lots of passions on VHS. There's some of them are in my room and some are in other rooms of our apartment. Eric Martzoff was right. She literally does have a lot of tapes. So she really went back with recording that show. But it deserves its own like a collection or whatever. It should have a collection like that. So that's definitely a way to remember it. Either that, or as Mackenzie Westmore said, it should even go on to streaming. It should go on to even streaming like Netflix or something like that. And I mean, I know that a lot of people have actually been making petitions trying to get Passions picked up by Netflix. And I've called Netflix in the past. I've called Netflix and said to them, is there any chances at all of them ever getting Passions on there? And one lady actually said something that it makes a lot of sense and is very, very, very obvious. The fact of it all is, it really doesn't matter. That's why I'm somebody that really doesn't believe in making petitions. I really don't believe in petitions that much because I always say that it doesn't matter how many petitions you make. If Netflix doesn't get the rights to Passions, it's not going on. Plain and simple. I mean, yeah, it doesn't matter. Netflix can get lots of petitions. They don't have the rights, they don't get Passions. They got to get the rights. That's how any streamer, Netflix, Hulu, Paramount Plus, Disney Plus, you name it, they get rights to these things. It's got nothing to do with petitions. So that's why I feel like it's a waste of time to do petitions because nobody cares about petitions. They need the rights.
Yeah.
Mackenzie Westmore said that the more petitions you send in, that's what makes them try to go for the rights. But that's actually something that I disagree with. I've noticed that, you know, a lot of these streamers and stuff like that, they don't care how many petitions they get. They go for what's going to make them money. I mean, why do you think Max and Peacock both have the Harry Potter franchise all on there? That both of them, it makes them money. And
Mm.
you know what I mean? Um, yeah, and so I mean, I don't think they think to themselves that much about something like Passions, a soap opera that's been canceled for several years now. I don't think that they think to themselves, if we get Passions, we can make a lot of money. I don't think they think to that to try and get the rights. So that's another thing that we could all just hope to get, but most likely will not get.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, so as of right now, really the only way, people out there, for all of you that want to check out this amazing show that we have been doing a podcast on for the last 3 weekends, the only way to do
Mm.
it, go on YouTube. That's the only way. And
You
luckily
too.
YouTube is free. It's just not going to be the best quality. That's the only bad part. It's not going to be the best quality. I mean, it's decent, but it's not the way that it was when it was on the air. And I luckily have not the entire series, but I've got a lot of them on DVD from when I recorded them off of TV, such as like when my dad, like I mentioned, my father, you got the final season on DVD for me and stuff like that. So pretty much all of the final season on DVD from when they aired. Yeah, I actually got all of those. Um, so those are beautiful quality and stuff like that, but I don't have anything earlier. Not that I even remember very much that happened earlier, so but yeah, but that's that's that with that and everything. I mean, um I'm hoping that they find some sort of a way to bring it back, whether it be, a continuation or just showing reruns or whatever. I mean, reruns would be cool, but it's like I said, we already got that on YouTube. I want to see the show continue. I want to see like, you know, more things happen
And
and
oh
stuff on
yeah,
it.
like
Yeah. See.
streaming or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, like
Yeah.
the Marvel shows.
Exactly.
Yep.
We want to see more adventures instead of the old ones that we already saw all of, and stuff like that. So
Mm.
we'll all have to just wait and see what happens on that and everything. And let's hope that, like what Mackenzie Westmore said, that there's talks of it. There's just nothing for sure. There was even this one time where they did something of a Passions reunion. It's on YouTube. I'm not talking about the one in California. They did it on Zoom, where they had a lot of the cast members. Holy cow, a
Yep, I
lot.
seen that.
You saw
Like
that?
five.
Yeah, a lot of them on there. It was amazing of how many they got on there. There were characters on there. We all wondered. I mean, they had all of the K's and like, wow,
And
they got all of those there on Zoom and everything.
yeah,
Yeah, yep. And somebody, I mean, I don't know who he was. He was somebody from one of the makers of the show. He actually said that they are definitely planning for something for Passions, but for it to make a comeback, but it's not going to be anytime soon.
mm,
So I guess we're going to be waiting a while. Who knows? Maybe I'll be in like my 50s by the time it happens.
yeah, me too.
No, now that with them appearing on Zoom, now that was really, really cool to see that. They had Vincent and they had Vicky and they had all the K's and they had both Ethans and they had still nothing of Emily Harper who played Fancy. She wasn't there. Nobody knows where the hell she disappeared to. Um
Mm,
I mean, even Andrea Evans before she passed away, she was on there.
yeah, she was on you.
No, Julian wasn't on there, but I don't think he had
No,
passed away yet. I don't think he had died yet, but he wasn't there. Um, I mean, I didn't see Eve, Tracy Ross. I didn't see her on there. Ivy was on there, and Sam and TC. Um, or actually,
hello.
Eve might have been on there. I really can't remember. I can't remember if Eve was on there or not. Tracy Ross. I can't remember. Teresa was on there. Uh, Paloma number 1 was on there. The Sylvana
Yeah,
Arias, she was on there, not Anya Gillen. We didn't get our Paloma number 2 on there.
and
Um,
Tabitha was on you.
yes, yeah, amazing. We got Juliet Mills on there. I
Yeah.
think I mentioned Luis. I don't think Endora was on there. Again,
Mm-mm.
like I said, she's another one that's out there. We've seen her, but we don't know very much about her. Whereas, like Emily Harper is completely just vanished. Um, um, I don't think any of the Miguels were on there. Jesse, Adrian, or Blair. I would know if Blair was on there for how much I love him. I would know. Um,
Mm.
um, I mean, Father Lonigan wasn't there. I mean, who else appeared for that little reunion? Just trying to think in my head. I mean, I already said Sheridan. I don't think Antonio was there. Valerie was there, I think. Um, one character I can't really remember her name. I think her name was Amelia. I think Amelia Marshall or something. I can't crud. I can't
Was she one of Tabitha's
no crud. What's oh no, the Amelia is the name of the actress. Liz Sanborn. Liz Sanborn
Yeah,
was the character's
I
name. Yeah,
remember Liz. Yep.
Amelia Marshall was the actress. My mistake. Yeah. Yeah, I think she was on there. I think she was on there. And again, I don't really remember the character that well, but her name pops
That's
up.
Eve's sister.
Speaking of sisters, I believe that Dana Sparks, who played Grace and Faith, was on there. I don't think either Charity was. I really don't remember. I don't remember. Oh, look at that, people! Look at that. Our time is up. The clock on the wall is telling us that our time is
Mm.
up, people. It's all there, yeah. But well, anyways, all the same or whatever. That is all the time we have left. We got to go. Thank you, Passions fans, for your time, and thank you, lovely Casey. Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome. Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. I love having you around. So please come back next weekend. Next week is actually going to be a little bit different or whatever. Next week we are actually well, actually, now that I mention it, there's really not going to be much of a difference. It will still air on Sunday regardless or whatever. But please tune in, come back next weekend. Once again, don't miss Passions Supernatural podcast Sundays at 2 p.m. Eastern, exclusively on YouTube. And before we go, once again, as I've said the last 2 weekends, I will repeat it again now. We are really trying very hard to get some cast members from the show to appear. We don't know if we will, but we're trying. We want to get as many as possible. We want to get Teresa, Ethan, Luis, Sheridan, Kay, Tabitha, you name it. It all depends on who we can get a hold of and if they will agree to appear. And also if we can get a hold of anybody, period. And I'd like to add, not only are we trying to get Passions cast members, but we are also trying to get other Passions fans to join us, others who
Yep.
love the show as much as we do. Yeah, there are people out there in the world who we either may be friends with or just may know who are big fans who we can maybe try and possibly get on the show. And everybody's so let's hope we can find some of them. So until then, we will see you next weekend. Casey, thanks for the good time, sweetie. We appreciate this wonderfully.
You're welcome.
Yep. This is great. Wonderful. Thank you, guys. Wonderful. We just made it through our 3rd podcast, everyone. All right. Yes.
Hit like and subscribe.
Exactly. Like and subscribe to Passions Supernatural Podcast. Thank you, Casey. Thank you for mentioning that. That's a great way. If you love our podcast, like and subscribe. And until then, everybody, as I always say, you are our passions for life. Thank you all, and God bless. Bye-bye, everybody.